perfectly balanced before I press the button. Now, my TUF Finale review, I want to make this quite short really, because not a lot of interest happened. Jason Dent versus Cameron Dollar. Dent actually won by submission, which I didn't see coming. I'm glad he brought his A game, so to speak, to that fight. It was the first round, so I'm not sure really what happens with Cameron Dollar now, but there we go. Second bout, Nick and Frank Lester. Now, I did say that Frank Lester really, if anybody deserves to win, it would be Frank Lester, because obviously he has made a huge improvement over the period of the show, from sort of a bit of a cocky punk, so to speak, to you know, somebody who has a great deal of heart, but not much luck in terms of actually winning. And of course, during the first round, as predicted, he got choked out, I believe. So unfortunate for him, but there we are. Very unfortunate to see Mike C get dropped in the first by Thomas Durwell. Apparently Herb Dean stopped it, so it was a TKO. A little bit upset about that, but there we are. Brad Blackburn and Edgar Garcia, I said I didn't really care about it. If anybody wants to know, it went to Blackburn by split decision, although the crowd thought it should have gone to Garcia. There we are. That match seemed to be a little bit full of accidental low blows as well, I think, in the second. Melvin Guillard and Gleason Tibau. Well, Guillard took the decision. It was a split decision. I can't remember, I think I went for Tibau in that, so my picks aren't doing so well thus far, really. The main card was easier to score, much easier to predict. Joe Stevenson versus Nathan Diaz. As predicted, Joe Stevenson walks away with the decision victory there. Ross Pearson and Andre Winner. I thought Winner would do a little bit better. Apparently he hasn't actually won in quite some time outside of the show, which I didn't realise before. And the unanimous decision goes to Ross Pearson instead. Chris Little and Kevin Burns again went to decision, and Chris Little won that. I think that was well deserved, actually. That was quite a match. On their feet for most of the time. Went the full length. So yes, I'm not too bad about that. That one was predicted properly as well. I didn't think it would go all the way to decision, but Little did seem to do very, very well indeed. DeMarcus Johnson and James Wilkes, very, very surprised at this. Wilkes, of course, being the Englishman who's actually living in America, going up against the American favourite in the only competitive bout in terms of the UK versus US in the finale. Everybody was, of course, thinking Johnson would win, and he gets totally and utterly dominated, finishing in the first round by choke. So James Wilkes has won. It's an all-British win. I know a lot of the Americans are saying that it was a very, very weak card, into a weak intake, really, in terms of the Americans. But personally, I think that's just being sore losers, to tell you the truth, because I don't think that the British team were the best that they could have picked, to be totally honest. So, okay, perhaps the talent level was slightly lower, but it was lower across the board, and it looks like the the British have done extremely well. So, shut up. Again, I lost that on my predictions. I was predicting DeMarcus Johnson winning that one, so let me down there a little bit. Diego Sanchez and Clay Guida went all the way to decision, as I said it would, and Diego Sanchez won. Split decision, not sure really it should have been a split decision at all, but there we are. Guida pretty much was very, very predictable in this, very predictable indeed. He and Joe Stevenson are predictable. If they have a good fight, they're quite predictable in what they do. I think not such a big fan of Guida, to tell you the truth. So there we are. We'll add up how I did. I don't think I did very well here, to tell you the truth. Where are we? Cameron? No. That's 1 with the Frank Lester match. 2 with Joe Stevenson. 3 with Chris Little. And 4 with Diego Sanchez, so not so good. The card was okay. It was a bit of a standard UFN level event, I thought. I did think it was quite interesting that they didn't include a lot of the people who had been in the show on the finale card like they usually do. Of course, they have the people in the show have no right to expect that. But up till now, the UFC have been filling their coffers with TUFers, whether they've won or not. And it's quite easy to see why they chose Frank Lester and Nick to be on the show. Frank Lester for his heart, and Nick was actually very good. A little bit more difficult to understand why they chose Jason Dent when he was such a letdown to begin with. Perhaps he impressed so much in his next set of bouts that he did very well in getting on. And Cameron Dollar is a bit of a, well, goodness knows why they've chosen him to be on the show and not others. I mean, I don't dislike him or anything, I just can't understand the logic there. So there we are. And now we have to look forward to Kimbo Slice in the next instalment. So let's wait and see how that goes.